So this story comes from Am I Overreacting? My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 22 female, were invited to a birthday party of his friend. The people at this event were all close friends of his from his contract job, and I barely know these people. Everything was going fine, and my boyfriend was clearly having a great time. But at some point, I was telling a story from my school days when my boyfriend interrupted and said, insert my name, is prettiest when she shuts up. Everyone laughed, and my boyfriend just kept going, saying, "You guys don't know what I go through. She never stops talking. Sometimes I tune her out for my own sanity," or something along those lines. I'm usually really introverted, but when I warm up to someone, I'm the type to talk a lot. So when he said those words, I felt so embarrassed and humiliated, especially since he said it so casually in front of people I don't even know. I tried to brush it off, but I got quiet after that. Later, after the party was over, I told him how hurtful his comment was. He rolled his eyes and said I was being too sensitive and that it was just a joke and I was making a big deal out of nothing. He said I embarrassed him by acting cold for the rest of the night and that I should learn to take a joke. He also told me if I couldn't learn to lighten up, maybe I shouldn't come to events with him and his friends anymore, even though he was the one who asked me to come in the first place. I feel so awful and confused. Am I on the wrong for getting upset and killing the vibe? P.S. Throwaway as my main has some personal info. OP, no, you are not overreacting. Your boyfriend needs to learn to respect you in front of his friends, and that if there are things that he dislikes about your personality or things that irritate him, then he needs to be a grown adult and discuss those with you in private. But embarrassing you in front of other people is never acceptable. Next story from Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting for being upset and crying after finding out my husband microwaved my breast milk? I went back to work this week after maternity leave, and my husband was in charge of watching our 3-month-old over the weekend, leaving her husband incredibly emotional for me. I've never been away from her for more than a couple of hours, and going back to work has been stressful and tearful. I've spent the last 3 months building a stash of frozen breast milk that I'm immensely proud of. It's taken an insane amount of effort collecting milk, eating well, staying hydrated, dealing with the physical toll, all to make sure she has what she needs. Before going back to work, I showed my husband exactly how to thaw the milk properly in warm water. We even practiced it together. I made it very clear that microwaving breast milk was not an option, as the CDC warns against it due to hot spots and potential nutrient loss. He agreed not to microwave it. Tonight, we were giving our daughter the last of my freshly pumped milk when I saw my husband take the bottle out of the microwave. I asked if he'd been doing that all weekend. He said yes. I immediately started crying. "You can never microwave breast milk. I told you this." I felt so completely disrespected. All the time, effort, and physical sacrifice I put into that milk, he had literally done the one thing I asked him not to. Instead of acknowledging it, he got defensive. "Why do you always have these crazy effing reactions?" Him calling me crazy sent me over the edge. He put the baby down and I cooled off. When he came back, his justifications were, "Google said it was fine. I only did it for a few seconds and mixed it to make sure there were no hot spots. I read a study that said it doesn't lose nutrients unless overheated, and I used a thermometer to make sure I didn't overheat it." I told him none of that matters. I explicitly asked him not to microwave it, and he did it anyway. His arrogance that he thinks he knows better than the CDC and literally every source is pissing me off. That he went against my wishes, disregarded my effort, and then doubled down when I was already emotionally drained. He doesn't understand why I'm upset, but I feel completely disrespected and empty after that. Am I overreacting? In my opinion, no, you are not overreacting, but you do need to have a sit-down discussion with your husband and let him know that you are aware of the same information that he researched and that this is still something that is very important to you, and that it was not just about the milk, but about the fact that he knew this was important to you and that he disregarded your feelings anyway. Story number 3 from Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting for being upset that my boyfriend canceled our romantic dinner to take his mom and sister instead? Basically what the title says. My 24 female boyfriend, 26 male, of 3 years, had told me over the weekend that he made reservations for a romantic restaurant on the lake. I was excited because our jobs don't allow us a lot of time to spend together, as is. I packed a cute outfit and got everything ready this morning to change after work. Then he texts me, "I actually can't take you tonight. I'm going with my mom and sister instead." Now, normally, I'm pretty understanding, but this is weird, right? He kind of just brushed me off with a, well, they really wanted to go, so yeah, sorry. I have no problem with him spending time with his family, but this was supposed to be our date. Not to mention, I had to prepare and pack everything since he lives about 45 minutes away from me. Now he's going to enjoy a romantic dinner with his mom and sister, and I'm going back home to be by myself. Am I overreacting for being upset about this? Update. Thank you for all the advice. I have read all the comments and I went ahead and pressed the issue a little further with him to respond to some of the questions in the comments. Question number 1, do you get along with his family? His family and I get along pretty well. We've been on trips together, gotten each other gifts for holidays, birthdays, the whole 9 yards. I have always had a creeping suspicion that they didn't like me because when I come over, they are super passive and don't really engage in conversation with me. When I ask my boyfriend, he says they're just really shy. I think they just don't like that the only man in their life has a girlfriend. Question number 2, is he cheating on you? I can confidently say he's not cheating on me. He just has this weird relationship/mama's boy thing going on that has always slightly bothered me. He literally goes out of his way to show his appreciation for them. Sometimes it's endearing, but sometimes I feel like I'm on the back burner. Now, he said he understands where he went wrong and doesn't want me to feel like I'm the last option. Apparently, he's been canceling plans on them for a while, so he felt bad when they expressed interest in going to dinner with him tonight, just them 3. He said he actually made the plans with them yesterday but forgot to text me because I got all my stuff packed up. I'm still not satisfied with this response, so we'll have to talk in person after he enjoys his dinner with them. I will be putting my foot down about his mom and sister thing. Like seriously, his sister is older than me, and he treats her like she's 9 years old. Thank you to all of the women and men sharing their mother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law stories. You've given me confidence to stand up for myself. Also, thank you for the laughs. I tend to make light of situations. Your concern brought me some joy. I felt crazy, but you all made me realize I need to stand up for myself right now. My response to all of this is that no, you are not out of line or you are not overreacting for being upset with your boyfriend's handling of the situation even after all of the updates. It will obviously take communication in the future to keep things like this from happening again. And while you understand that yes, he needs to spend time with his mom and sister, that when you've already made plans with you, that it is not okay to cancel on you and that he needs to make arrangements with them for another time. Story number 4 from Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting after I won $50,000 and didn't help my sister with her $20,000 surgery? Throw away for obvious reasons. Hit a crazy streak gambling last month on Stake US. Walked away with $50,000 after taxes. My sister found out through a mutual friend and immediately called asking for help with her $20,000 surgery. Here's the thing. Growing up, she stole from me for years. Not just small stuff, but actively took my things and lied about it. He doesn't need it anyway, or you shouldn't be so materialistic, were her go-to lines. She was 7 years older, an adult, and could have respected my property, but nope. We've had exactly one conversation about it as adults where she basically said that's just how things were back then and changed the subject. So when she called about needing surgery money, I told her congratulations on her GoFundMe reaching $500. I've learned I don't owe people who hurt me a darn thing, even family, especially family. My money is going into investments and a vacation somewhere with excellent cocktails and zero family drama. Am I overreacting? My friends say I'm being cruel. A lot of the comments are saying that it is your money and you are free to do whatever you please with it. And that is very well true. Only you know your relationship with your sister and you know the ins and outs of it. It is true that you do not owe anybody anything, and just because somebody is blood related does not mean that you are obligated to take care of them. Your sister very well knows why you are refusing this money, and it is her problem if she doesn't understand it and does not want to own her part in your refusal. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Simple Stories. Please hit the subscribe button and come back again for more simple stories.